the vice principal with white hair. He was staring at the rainbow fairy's skirt. Gray never dreamed that he would see this picture on his computer. The vice principal suddenly became extremely angry and slammed the table in rage. Who is so despicable to put such a childish anime like Rainbow Fairy on my computer? Gray stood aside, expressing amazement. Old fart, how did you know that this anime is called Rainbow Fairy? The vice principal quickly realized and responded. What nonsense are you talking about? I am truly ashamed to be associated with you. Stop talking about useless things. You better solve the issue of freshman's data entry first. Don't keep the children waiting. Seeing his appearance, Gray felt it in his heart and echoed. You are right, vice principal. However, old fart, we are so familiar with each other. What are you pretending with me? I caught you in the act, yet you remain as calm as an old dog. However, I am not someone who is not particular about things. Return the 100 credits you deducted from me, and give me an additional 100 credits as a reward. Let's forget about this matter. Otherwise, I may not be able to hold my tongue. I will represent justice and magic to eliminate you at that time. The vice principal, who felt threatened, suddenly became furious. Enough is enough. You quickly go to the office. But you should be clear about the rules of MO Academy. You can only blackmail me once for the same thing. As Gray closed the door, the vice principal's face instantly turned pale. It's not easy to earn my credit. If you can get even a penny of salary this year, consider my whole life wasted. He got up to close the door. This time he was even more alert, directly locking the door and pulling down the curtains. He clumsily found that anime again, clicked to watch, with a silly smile on his face. Perhaps this is the charm of the anime world. At the same time, after the failed attack by the Demon Realm cults on the school, they sent the Divine Maiden to the Demon Realm for reinforcements. Before long, a figure emerged from the black mist. The middle-aged man with white hair and deep eyes asked, I am not aware of the purpose of omnitheism Divine Maiden coming to our lush mountain. Looking at the person in front of him, Nora smiled even more, but there was a hint of teasing in her eyes. Luca, you are indeed still alive. It is quite surprising that someone who betrayed the human race can still be alive. Nora took 2 steps forward, almost pressing her body against Luca's. How did the human race, once a prominent rising star in the 4th generation at the end of the era, who was hailed as the most likely to carry the 4th generation, now only rely on Lush Mountain to barely survive? Luca took 2 silent steps back, blending into the black mist. The Divine Maiden came from afar just to mock me with a few words. Then I won't see her off. Seeing him approach, Nora stopped joking and respectfully bowed towards the mountain in front of her. Omnitheism Divine Maiden seeks an audience with Shangliu, sir. So, what conspiracies will target the human race during their meeting this time? It's better to deceive a friend than deceive an outsider, which Quentin has demonstrated vividly. He sold a ragged piece of clothing for $50,000. Strongman not only didn't realize he had been tricked, but also thought he had made a great deal. The Divine Maiden Nora from cults visited the Demon Realm. She was led by Luca. Before long, a huge snake head slowly emerged. Its cold eyes stared at Nora. Do you omnitheism dare to come to my Demon Realm? You still haven't explained the matter of killing Sunny last time. The voice was cold with a hint of anger. Nora's smile faded, and her expression became solemn. She hurriedly explained that it was just an accident with Lord Shangliu. Cults will never make the same mistake again. Now that Sunny has re-entered the demon-suppressing pass, it is definitely not good news for the Demon Realm. But after the incident last time, everyone will be convinced that my omnitheism has been greatly harmed. This is also what we hope to see. If the Demon Clan organizes a major war to attack the demon-suppressing pass, and there is sudden chaos in Jay's city behind the demon-suppressing pass, or even if MO Academy is under a massive attack, and there is internal strife on the demon-suppressing pass, I think Lord Shangliu should understand what I mean. Shangliu did not directly agree with her. His cold eyes stared at the woman in front of him. Why should I trust you? After all, you are also human race. Nora suddenly smiled. Ionotheism is just following the will of the gods and walking on this land to spread their divine light. As long as it benefits the gods, we don't care about people. The snake head slowly twisted and looked in Luca's direction. Luca's eyes showed a thoughtful expression. After a moment, he nodded lightly, indicating approval. Shangyu didn't say anything more, but slowly disappeared into the black mist. This left Nora bewildered. Luca suddenly spoke up. Master Shangyu has agreed. Just follow me. Nora never expected that a human race would have such a great influence in the demon realm, to the extent of being able to make decisions in place of the demon king. What exactly is Luca's background? The freshmen enrolled in MO Academy are gathering on the playground. However, what catches the eye is that the chain on Melvin's monument has been painted with a shiny golden oil paint. Quentin touched him sneakily. How is this effect? Has he become the most handsome guy in the whole field? On the other side, Strongman also changed into a new outfit. Carson looked at the outfit with "Strong" written on it, and thought it looked quite impressive with Strongman's muscles. But when he saw the word "man" at the back, he was speechless. He asked in confusion, "Where did this clothing come from?" Strongman scratched his head a little shyly. This outfit was professionally customized for me by Quentin. The original price was 300,000 yuan, but I sold it to me for 50,000 yuan considering our classmate's face. I gained quite an advantage. Carson's face was full of black lines when he heard this. Damn, what a silly fool. This money fanatic tricked all his classmates around him just to make money. He sold a t-shirt to Strongman for 50,000 yuan. He casually painted some paint for 40,000 yuan. He didn't even spare a 13-year-old girl. He actually called the Death Barbie powder a top trendy brand. Blockhead Carson couldn't even stand it. Are you being a bit too harsh? Quentin started to talk as soon as he opened his mouth. You can tell Leia, who is still single at 13, that she should dress up a bit. Look at this delicate shade in her dress, they don't match, but Carson couldn't say a word. He opened his own clothes, patted the bulletproof vest on his body, looked around, and thought that the bulletproof vest I bought is quite useful. Just as he was feeling pleased with himself. When fighting against others, they will only hit your awakened object. Is this bulletproof vest of yours used for exercising? Carson was completely stunned and forgot about this. Seeing Dallas come out to speak, a sense of powerlessness arose in Quentin's heart. He considered himself a qualified businessman, but Dallas had never spent a penny here. Carson and others have all set their sights on duping Quentin. The pressure is on him now. Just then, Gray stepped in and saved Quentin's life. He cleared his throat twice to signal everyone to be quiet. I am pleased that you have all become members of MO Academy. I will be your class teacher for the next 3 years. I will lead everyone forward together. As soon as he finished speaking, the others all gave him a speechless look. Only Quentin stood by, rubbing his smelly foot. It is truly an honor for Gray to teach us. We believe that by following the footsteps of the teacher, we will be able to forge ahead and become the pillars of the future of the human race. Gray is being flattered to his heart's content with these words of praise. He immediately patted Quentin and said, I appoint you as the class monitor for the 140th term. Does anyone have any different opinions? Teacher is very democratic. Different voices can be raised. He couldn't wait for everyone to speak before announcing. If there are no objections, then I will give the class monitor position to Quentin. He usually helps organize task materials for everyone. As compensation, the school will award him 10 credits every month as a reward. Just as the words fell, Dallas suddenly spoke up. Teacher, I have a different idea regarding the selection of the class monitor. I think I am more suitable for this position. Gray was confused. He had agreed with Quentin to split the credit 50-50, so why did Dallas come in? And isn't he not interested in these things? Actually, Dallas is a die-hard finance enthusiast. He glanced at Carson and others around him. He opened his mouth slowly and said, "I think they can't beat me." The haughty Dallas unexpectedly decided to compete for the position of class monitor. This made the long-standing equitable Gray anxious. He quickly said that being chosen as the class monitor is not about who is better or worse. The class monitor needs to have the ability to unite and lead the team, as well as a generous heart and noble character. The class monitor also needs to have a spirit of willingness to sacrifice. Do you possess all of these qualities? Dallas stands tall and proud, looking as if it is precisely what I meant. This made Gray unable to think of a solution for a moment, and decided not to look at Dallas anymore. He turned to Quentin and said, "I think only Quentin in our class can do it." Before he finished his sentence, he saw Quentin being besieged and knocked down, which made Gray couldn't help but ask, "What did you do?" Quentin's face was red, and his neck swollen from being beaten. "I just sold them what they wanted. It was purely a free trade," he said. Gray suddenly felt confused. "Seeing you beaten like this, you must have cheated someone," he said. At this moment, Dallas on the side suddenly spoke up. "It seems we can find a compromise. Since Quentin wants to be the class monitor so much, I'll just let him have it. He can be the class monitor, but give me credit." The audience present were all stunned by Dallas' way of thinking. Gray can't stand Dallas' way of thinking. His dark face threatened. "What do you think MO Academy is? If you rebel against the teacher here, you will die a miserable death." Carson and the others were all trembling with fear. Gray tripped and fell on the ground, feeling frustrated by this guy. "I promise to make you the class monitor if you give me 5 credits a month." Dallas is not one to suffer losses. It's too much for Quentin to snatch 5 from him at once. If Quentin becomes the class monitor, I could extort a minimum of 9 credits from him each month. Quentin looked somewhat bewildered. Gray has already started leading the applause. Good deal. From now on, Quentin is the latest class monitor and voluntarily agrees to split 10 credits of monthly salary to Dallas 9 points. Give 1 point to this hardworking teacher. Truly deserving of being the class monitor with a broad mind. Let's give him a round of applause. Once the issue with the class monitor Gray was resolved, he proceeded to give the class their first lesson. That means he goes to sleep, and everyone must earn 20 credits within a day to complete the task. Quentin smirked on the side. A bunch of fools, isn't it just 20 credits? Wouldn't 2 million be easy peasy to handle? Just then, Gray suddenly shattered his dreams. Once officially enrolled in MO Academy, external funds cannot be used. Eating, training, and utilizing resources like the awake room and the training room are all provided within the school. Quentin was suddenly dumbfounded, thinking, "What have I gotten myself into?" In order to earn enough 20 credits, everyone was racking their brains. Melvin proposed that they all go and eliminate the cultists, conveniently worth exactly 20 credits. Carson's eyes full of stars looked towards Dallas, but Dallas walked out of the classroom on his own. "I have already earned enough credits." Seeing Dallas leave, he then turned his gaze to Carson. "I saw you and Dallas in the news, killing indiscriminately. Let's go together." Carson touched his hair with a smug look on his face. "You haven't killed anyone. I hope you never know how that feels." He was actually extremely nervous. The people who kill randomly have left. Do you want me and you to go find the people from cults and end up being beaten back? The teacher assigned homework. Earn 20 credits within 1 day. If not completed, they will pack up and leave. Quentin sneered at the remark. Isn't it just 20 credits? This is a small matter in front of 2 million. Dallas is even more carefree. He already had 400 credits when I bombed the school. You don't need to include me in your plans. The remaining few people looked at each other in shock as Melvin suddenly suggested that MO Academy should set a fixed price 20 credits for one cultist. Carson, who had experience in killing cultists, was regarded by Melvin as the leader of the group. In fact, Carson just followed Dallas to take pictures and didn't have the courage to kill anyone. However, he still had to persist. He casually ran his hand through his hair. "I really hope you never have to experience the feeling of killing someone, otherwise it will shatter your innocence. I am more willing to exchange my own pain for credit, compared to killing someone." Saying this, he walked out of the classroom. He even turned back with a contemptuous smile and said, "There are many ways to gain credit with momentum. There's no need to take risks at such a young age." He then proceeded to advertise on the loudspeaker, offering a free 1-hour trial with 1 credit, only limited to 1 day. "Come quickly." Seniors passing by didn't know what was going on with this junior, thinking that there might be something wrong with his head. Only those who have tasted the sweetness beg for it. "Brothers, pick me, pick me. I'll cover the day." Melvin still hasn't given up. He continues to work on the minds of Strongman and Leia. "I think we are not inferior, even without Dallas and Carson. With just the 3 of us, it shouldn't be difficult to kill the cultist." Leia looked at him as if he were a fool. "Big brother, I'm only 13. How can you encourage children to kill?" Strongman scratched his head awkwardly. "I'm not going either. I am a Martyr's family member, and I was given credit when I enrolled. It just happens to be enough." This made Melvin's face change color. One has money, one has an awakened object, and another has credit. Obviously, when he enrolled, he was the most prestigious with the lowest odds. How come now it seems like I'm the loser? However, Melvin did not give up the idea of dealing with the cultists. At the same time, members of the cults also gathered together. Every year at this time, MO Academy freshmen must earn 20 credits. And our identity happens to be worth 20 credits, almost a direct indication for them to kill us to earn credit. The leading cultist is so infuriated that he is gritting his teeth. The damn MO Academy actually massacres the followers of the cult every year. This time, there will be no way back for you. These cult small fry are pretending to be seriously injured, preparing to ambush the MO Academy freshmen. But this time their plan backfired, as the former freshmen all targeted them. And this year's students seem a bit abnormal. Dallas was rewarded 400 credits by the vice principal for bombing the school directly. The family members of the martyr strongman also have credits. Quentin was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He just needs to make a move, and credit will naturally come. Carson is a money cat. Summoning the awakened object credit will bring it to him. Leia doesn't worry about not being able to get credit by selling cuteness. Only Melvin is speechless. He doesn't care about what he wants or doesn't have anything to rely on. He chose to challenge Cult Small Fry alone, although he was heavily injured. But fortunately, he completed the mission. But Gray, this teacher, doesn't intend to let them off so easily. Just as the group of people who had just completed the task were still fast asleep, they received the latest task announced by Gray to track down 3 awake fugitives. Although this task has no time limit, as a student of Gray, it must be completed within 3 days. Failing to do so within the allocated time will result in the mission being considered a failure. The next morning, early, everyone gathered in the classroom, but Gray, who is the teacher, was fast asleep. Carson carefully examined the task. He then walked up to Dallas and said, "Dallas, take a close look at this mission. We need to encounter the Awakened 3 times, and we only know that they are in J City. What should we do?" Dallas seemed to have known this already. "We just need to find them and take care of them." When he said this, it stunned several people. Strongman and Melvin blurted out, "Dallas is indeed showing his skills. Is this what a top genius is capable of? Even knowing that the opponent is a powerful, 3-time awakened person, it's just a matter of finding and taking them down quickly and cleanly." Quentin slyly touched Dallas. The death rate among Dallas Academy students is extremely high. However, this is the first time we are truly embarking on a mission. As novices, we cannot be without novice protection. As the class monitor and future peer within the next 3 years, I hope that we can be open and honest with each other. Can you please describe the abilities of each other's awakened objects, so that we can have a clear understanding? His gaze fell on Dallas with hope in his eyes. He was well aware that in terms of credibility, he definitely did not carry as much weight as Dallas. Dallas thought for a moment and said, "Awakened object, iron rod." I said, "I am a first awakening. Do you believe me?" Everyone looked at Dallas as if he were a fool. It seems like they were implying, "Do you believe your own reasons?" He had a defeated expression. Okay, the second awakening skill is concealing aura and short-distance teleportation. The crowd collectively froze, especially Quentin, who has the broadest vision, subconsciously swallowed some saliva. Even if it's just a short distance, it is the decisive advantage in critical moments. This guy must be having a stroke of luck. All members of this team are awakened at once. But their target this time is unexpectedly 3 times higher level awakened. For the safety of the operation, Quentin called an emergency meeting. Everyone followed my lead. On the way to the gathering, I have arranged for people to investigate the whereabouts of the target this time. Before confirming the information, I think we should understand each other's awake abilities, so that we can cooperate seamlessly in future actions. Subsequently, he shifted his gaze to Dallas. He was very clear that in terms of credibility, he was definitely no match for Dallas. Dallas was just not very talkative and more reserved, but after the freshman entrance exam, anything Dallas said was more effective than all his grandiloquent speeches. Dallas thought for a moment and said, "My awakened object is the iron rod. First awakening. Do you believe me?" At this moment, there was silence, and everyone stared at Dallas. It seemed like they were saying, "Do we look like fools to you?" Dallas sighed helplessly. Okay, my skill for the second time being awake is concealment and teleportation." Quentin clapped his chest loudly. "I swear by my grandfather that I will not disclose any information we discuss today. Please trust me. Our team needs to trust each other." Everyone present let down their guard. Carson supports the defense-type awakened object sandbag, which becomes stronger when hit. Attacking me will also cause it to grow. Strongman stupidly said, "My name is Eli. Awakened object is me. My strength is enhanced, and my body is boosted. I am a meat shield." Leia is relatively ordinary. The ability of awakened object Whitey is probably biting. What comes as the most unexpected is that Melvin has already awakened for the second time. The awakened object is the tombstone behind him. Its drawback is the inability to shrink or be stored, only carried on the back. However, its ability is outstanding, as it can remotely control and weaken enemies. When these words were spoken, everyone present took in a sharp breath. If Melvin can remotely control and weaken enemies, combined with Dallas's stealth and teleportation abilities, who else is there that they both cannot assassinate? As for Quentin's awakened object, it truly leaves people speechless to the extreme. Although it's also a second awakening, his ability can only be used to make money. He has no attacking power at all. I never would have thought that Melvin, carrying a 100-pound stone tablet on his back, is actually a long-range mage. Everyone was greatly shocked when they learned about Melvin's abilities. "You carried such a large tombstone and fought Dallas with so many moves, now you're telling us you're a mage. This is really unbelievable." Carson reached out his hand and pointed unconsciously behind him at the tombstone, then asked, "What is this thing for? Are you a mage with a built-in shield?" Melvin also felt a little embarrassed. Besides triggering media, this thing is also very cool. Don't you think it's very practical when swinging at people? His pale explanation. Even the ineloquent strongman Eli was speechless. Fortunately, Leia changed the subject. "Class monitor, what are your abilities?" Quentin excitedly took out his awakened object. "I have successfully entered the awake state 3 times. It should be the highest among us." He also couldn't help but glance at Dallas, as if showing off his 3 awakenings. Leia couldn't believe that Quentin, who had never made a move before, turned out to be so strong. What is your ability then? It's Quentin's turn to be embarrassed now. My ability is Fortune Luck. I can greatly enhance Fortune Luck. Everyone was speechless. After talking for a long time, this awakened object of yours is completely useless. Quentin blushed with embarrassment, but I have money, I have money. My gold ingot group is spread throughout the northern regions of the human race. Our intelligence gathering capabilities are definitely top-notch. And as long as I'm here, there won't be any issues with the logistics or funding of our team. Dallas helplessly waved his hand, interrupting his self-praise with excitement, and quickly said, "Let's get back to business. Why are you boasting again? Since Quentin is a trash with 0 combat power, you guys first talk about how to prepare for the battle." Quentin cleared his throat twice. I made 2 plans before. Our goal is to find a skilled swordsman, so let Eli hold Melvin's tombstone in the front. Carson will support Eli from the side, and Dallas, you and Whitey will wait on the side to strike when the enemy is not prepared for a lethal blow. But there is a downside now. We know Melvin's abilities. If we use this plan, his abilities will be wasted. So I just had a flash of inspiration and came up with a second plan. First, let Carson summon Sandbag to hold off for a while. Melvin is using his abilities in the back. He then handed the tombstone that inspires skills to Eli, and then Eli and Carson will take the lead. However, this seems a bit inappropriate. Our goal is the danger of 3 awoken individuals. I am a little worried about whether Carson's first awakening can withstand it. At this moment, Carson opened his mouth confidently and said, "Sorry, after being beaten up yesterday, I am now awoken for the 2nd time. I have to admire that you are still amazing, getting stronger after being beaten up." This man has 3 lives on his back. Now he has fled to the territory of Emo Academy. The task of capturing this cancerous growth has fallen on the shoulders of the 140th freshman. Quentin locked down the hotel where the fugitive was located through his own intelligence system. He just came up with a brand new plan on his way here, but there are too many people in the hotel, making it difficult to take action. He asked if Dallas could go in first. Then the rest of the people will ambush for a one-hit kill. Dallas doesn't want to just talk about it here. He waved his hand and walked in alone. You guys discuss first, and I'll go check the situation. Quentin is worried about his safety, and quickly urged Dallas to lure the person out, never to engage in battle. Carson patted him on the back from behind, indicating not to worry because Dallas is quite capable. After Dallas sneaked into the hotel, he found Ruffian's room with the help of information from Quentin. And just now, Dallas was very cunning and asked the beautiful girl at the front desk if the room next to Ruffian's was empty. If this person is very cautious, then he must be hiding inside room 604, constantly monitoring the situation in room 603 for his escape. Dallas took out a small syringe and dripped a few drops of liquid into the location of room 604. To prevent any misjudgment, he also dripped some into room 603, then he took out and quietly waited for the medicine to evaporate, with a series of miscellaneous noises coming from the room. Dallas flicked a wire out from his cuff until he heard a crisp sound. He raised his right hand, pushed open the door with bow and crossbow, and then took a step back. He took out a polygonal small mirror, as if an irregular spherical rolled into it. At that moment, a middle-aged person sitting crookedly on the sofa with his hand over his chest could be clearly seen, while there was no one behind the door, including the ceiling above. At this moment, Ruffian, even though weak all over, still had a fierce look on his face, with cold eyes staring directly at Dallas. "How did you know I was at 604? Dallas replied with a guess and decisively pulled the trigger. Ruffian slipped underfoot. He dodged behind the sofa. At this point, his limbs were weak and powerless. Soft bone powder, I know. This thing has the benefit of being colorless and tasteless, but the disadvantages are also very obvious. If you can't kill me within 2 minutes, then I'll kill you. How about we make a deal? Dallas, however, responded calmly with a simple no. At the same time, he acquired a timed TNT in his hand. If you can regain your strength within a minute and a half, then I might consider your proposal. This man is infamous for being mentally ill and carrying 3 lives on his back. Now he has been driven crazy by Dallas into a corner. The effect of soft bone powder only lasts for 2 minutes, and Dallas has also given him a slight chance of survival. If you can restore your stamina before the timed TNT explosion, there is a slight chance of survival. When Ruffian saw the time displayed above, 1.5 minutes, he was dumbfounded. He greeted Dallas's 18 generations of ancestors. While Dallas was still making sarcastic remarks on the side, in order to control the damage, I have already reduced the power of the TNT. At most, it can only blast you half dead or rupture your internal organs. I'm not very good at controlling TNT, often getting the dosage wrong. This round of threats almost broke through the defenses of the bandits. He exclaimed that it was impossible. Your Shadow Pavilion lackeys absolutely wouldn't do such a thing. Just then, a series of arrows shot past him, and Dallas's words followed. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I can collect a bounty at Shadow Pavilion for killing you. Ruffian was speechless for a moment. A madman is truly a madman. Should I take the risk? He's probably just bluffing to scare me. But what if he's serious? Nonetheless, he is also ruthless. He picked up the bow and arrow. He turned over and crossed the sofa, rushing towards Dallas. But as soon as he passed, he was dumbfounded. He never expected that Dallas had already hidden by the door, leaving only a bow and crossbow aimed at him, and without hesitation, pulled the trigger. The ruffian wanted in several cities died just like that. At the same time, in another room of the hotel, Jay's city cultist Tio is secretly meeting with divine maiden Nora. They are collaborating with the demon Shangliu from the demon realm to prepare a sneak attack on Mo Academy. And at this moment, they just need some useless cannon fodder to step forward and die. Nora's seductive expression suggests that this person should work well. If sister is in a good mood, she might bring you to her side. The man looks like he's enjoying himself. When they both turn their backs and put on indifferent expressions at the same time, the man chuckled coldly. Do you really think I'm a fool? You've even found me to be your pawn. He pondered on how to break the deadlock. A final trace of cunning flashed across his face. If I eliminate the divine maiden, won't that be very thrilling? Dallas successfully assassinated Ruffian. However, this infuriated Gray. The heroes are back. Are they all feeling proud? This mission has a total credit of 300. Dallas got 280 points, and Quentin got 20 points. Does anyone have any objections? Although no one said anything, their expressions clearly showed their dissatisfaction. Why is there no credit for going on the same mission? Gray gave Quentin a stern look. Your intelligence work is not thorough at all. You didn't even consider Ruffian in the adjacent room. If they trust your intelligence and charge into room 603, there is a high chance of being ambushed by Ruffian from behind, resulting in the total annihilation of the entire army. So, deducting 50 credits from Quentin, is there a problem? After Gray's analysis, Quentin also realized that he had not considered everything thoroughly, so he agreed to deduct the 50 credits. Afterwards, Gray pointed the gun at Dallas, saying, Acting alone without authorization. Your teammates trust you unconditionally in this operation, but you are abandoning them and mistrusting them, clearly disconnecting from the team. Perhaps the survival method in Sintown is to act alone, but as a teacher, I will not ask you to completely abandon that way of life in Sintown. There are still some valuable lessons to be learned outside of Sintown. For example, your classmates and friends. So this time, the operation deducts 100 credits from you. Do you have any objections? Dallas did not refute. Gray felt a little pleased. If Dallas were to argue with oneself, it would mean that he did not agree with oneself and held opposing views. In this way, it also means that Dallas has some obsessions in his heart about certain things. But at least Dallas is really thinking seriously about this issue in his mind, and has indeed considered changing his mind. The future path may be much simpler. Then he turned his head back and scolded the three onlookers, including you, Carson, for standing in front of the bus stop with particularly stiff movements. It is very obvious that you are looking down at your phone screen, so obvious that even a novice can tell something is wrong just by looking at you. Melvin, Leia, and Eli are so unprofessional. The three of you really look cool on this journey. If I were a ruffian, I would have already received information about you on the road. Does he really think that he doesn't know how to play on the internet? Each of you deduct 10 credits and write a 2,000-word self-criticism. Watching the few of you obediently walk into the school. Gray complained, "This is truly the worst group of students I have ever taught." Just then, Dallas went up behind him and said, "Teacher, are you excited? We earned 190 credits this time, and it seems like 100 of them are mine." Gray was startled for a moment, but being an old hand, he quickly replied, "This is deducted on behalf of the school. I am an excellent teacher. Please do not evaluate me with such rigid thinking."